According to a report published Sunday by the World Economic Forum, 14 million jobs will disappear in the next 5 years.
40% of all jobs around the world will be impacted by AI.
Recent analysis from investment firm Goldman Sachs looked at the global impact and found AI could replace 300 million full-time jobs.
There will come a point where no job is needed.
You don't understand the nature of work is changing. The nature of employment is going to change.
AI is everywhere, and we hear about it all the time. One of the biggest parts of the conversation is AI in the workforce. They say that AI will take away 40 million jobs, 60 million jobs, maybe they're at 100 million jobs. But as AI goes into the workforce, what happens to us? Will it make our jobs better and easier? Will it put us all out of work completely? The reality is that AI is already in the workforce. In this video, we'll be moving past the flashy headlines and try to get to the heart of what AI in the workforce means for real people in real jobs. Now, as AI changes work, not everyone agrees on what the future will look like. Some people think it'll create a utopian world where we're free from repetitive, boring tasks. Others think it's a dystopian nightmare waiting to happen. That brings us to the central question of this video. What impact does AI in the workforce have on people and society? To evaluate this question, we'll look at this issue through the lens of utilitarianism, which is an ethical framework that focuses on maximizing the greatest good for the greatest number. We'll explore what AI in the workforce means for people and how it benefits and harms them. Let's get into it. Now, when people talk about AI and the future of work, a name that comes up a lot is Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT and one of the most influential AI companies today. Sam Altman has a very specific idea for what he thinks the future of work looks like with AI. He sees a future where AI can automate away the boring, mundane tasks of work and allow us to instead focus on work that we find meaningful. Here he is testifying at a recent congressional hearing.
There will be an impact on jobs. We try to be very clear about that, and I think it will require partnership between the industry and government, but mostly action by government to figure out how we want to mitigate that. But I'm very optimistic about how great the jobs of the future will be.
Thank you.
What he's saying there is a nice idea, right? A world where AI can take over the boring parts of our jobs and instead let us focus on what we really enjoy doing. But for some people, this sounds less like a utopia and more like a dystopia. A world where millions of people are out of a job and, importantly, with no sense of meaning or purpose. One of these critics is Princeton professor Steven Kelts. Professor Kelts is an ethicist and an expert in AI. I reached out to him to get his opinions on what AI in the workforce means and what the responsibility of AI companies are in this new era.
Yeah, I would say that the responsibility that the companies have is to design the frontier models, the foundation models, whatever you want to call them, in such a way that they are facilitating job-producing uses of them, right? And that's actually one of the reasons why Sam Altman's dystopic and unrealistic vision of a world of, no future work and a universal basic income for everyone is really troubling to me, because that means he and perhaps others who work for him won't see the opportunity to design the products in ways that are sort of labor enhancing. So there are uses of LLMs within those language-based businesses that are efficiency producing in the sense that they're labor saving. And there are uses of the LLMs that are efficiency producing in the sense that they're labor enhancing. And you can design a product with certain cues or nudges that push people towards improving their work.
I asked Professor Kelts how he views the idea of automation replacing human work and its impact on society.
The idea of replacing people's work with a bot that can do it all and a universal basic income is really dystopic in a lot of ways, because people's contributions to each other oftentimes come through their work. So all of our jobs really are our own contribution to humanity. And the idea that we could imagine a future in which all of those things are displaced, and yet we have enough material wealth so that everyone has at least a basic standard of living, that's dystopia to me.
Professor Kelts made a bunch of really great points about work and how it's central to human identity. And it really makes us think about what would happen if that sense of purpose is disrupted or lost entirely. If AI replaces jobs, it's not just about losing a paycheck, it's really more so about losing the ability to feel like what you do matters, to feel like you're contributing. Now, that all makes sense, but what does this look like in the real world? I wanted to take a look at a recent case where AI in the workforce was front and center, the Hollywood writers' strike in 2023. Now, this strike wasn't just about wages and contracts. It was also about limiting the use of AI in Hollywood. Writers were concerned that if Hollywood studios started to use AI, that it would cut them out of the process and leave them without jobs. I wanted to speak to someone in the industry, so I reached out to Marco Giordani. He's a video production professional with years of experience and a deep knowledge of how AI is changing their field. He's highly accomplished, having won 2 Emmys. He was also easy to reach because he's my dad. In our interview, which doubled as a great chance to catch up, I asked for his thoughts on the recent Hollywood writers' strike.
I mean, I understand their point. My thought is that, yeah, I understand their point that a lot of them would lose their jobs if AI, if the studios were able to use AI to write the scripts and the movies and the sitcoms and stuff like that. Yes, they would probably be able to find another job in different work and make a living that way. But a lot of them are passionate about what they do, and in the film world, and some of them are very, very talented. It would definitely be a loss, but they would they would have to just move on, I guess.
Marco brings up a lot of really interesting and important points. For some people in some industries, AI in the workforce is a threat to their passion, to their sense of purpose. It builds off of what Professor Kelts was saying about how work, in a lot of ways, contributes to people's sense of meaning. But creative fields are just one piece of the picture here. What about tech, where AI is front and center? To get a sense of how AI is reshaping tech, I reached out to Abby Hines. Abby has over 15 years of experience in tech and has seen firsthand how new technologies continue to evolve the field.
My team deals with data, specifically clinical data. Currently, we don't use any AI. It's all manually programmed. That being said, if you can manually program it, the AI can also program it. So I think it's only a matter of time. In tech, you have to adapt a lot anyway, because it's constantly changing. So you can't be like, I'm a C++ programmer, so hire me, because nobody does C++ anymore now. So it's always been that way in tech, that you have to adapt with whatever's coming.
Abby brings up a lot of really great points. In some fields, adaptability is part of the job, and AI entering the workforce is just the next step of an ongoing evolution. But that doesn't mean that for the people in those industries, the challenges are any less real. Like Abby pointed out, for people that can't or won't adapt are at risk of being left behind. Now, we heard from different perspectives in different industries, but I wanted to get a sense of the broader business perspective. For this, I reached out to Anna Elliott. Anna's a managing director at an investment bank, and she's seen firsthand how companies are integrating AI to improve their operations.
I am working for a company called Vertes, which is an investment bank, and we are M&A advisors solely for healthcare. And we represented a lot of AI clients out of India and Italy, which was fascinating for me. And that's when the whole AI venture kicked off. It's when I really started to understand, the benefits of having AI incorporated into a platform, especially in healthcare, because there's so many dynamics to and benefits of automation and digitalizing your operations.
As it relates to employment, do you see these tools, in some sense, kind of replacing workers, or do you see them just getting integrated into companies and just kind of working alongside the people that already work there?
Well, I do see a little bit of both. Unfortunately, there are some industries where, AI can, replace an employee. However, I see a lot more where AI enhances the employee's job. There's a lot of, jobs that are being lost because of it. But then on the other hand, there's a lot of opportunity for AI to support these jobs as well.
Anna's perspective here is essential because it highlights the complexity of AI in the workforce. AI can be a great tool for businesses, but it can also bring about pretty significant challenges. On the one hand, businesses can use AI to stay competitive and to optimize their workflows. On the other, it poses a serious risk of displacing people from their jobs. It's a problem with no easy or clear solution. As we saw throughout this video, AI is already changing the workforce. But beyond the news headlines and reports, it's clear that this issue isn't just about jobs, it's fundamentally about people. AI in the workforce makes us think about what work means, what its purpose is, what its function is for us and for society. And these aren't just technical points, they're ethical ones. When we examine an issue through the lens of utilitarianism, we're trying to understand its net benefit or harm. But the truth is, when it comes to AI in the workforce, there's no clear answer. What is clear, though, is that the choices that we make now, how we build these tools, how we implement them, will change work for decades to come. It's up to us to make sure that this change is positive. Thanks for watching this video.